This is the time of year where things get really, really busy for us. Probably could have been less busy if we had a little better setup as far as maybe a heated shop. We could have done a lot of oil changes and odds and ends ahead of time because they're no fun to do and when it's like minus 20. But yeah, we're getting geared up for seating, and this week is going to be bonkers. I'm not saying we're going to get everything done this week, not even close, I don't think. But let's just do a quick lap here. Old 2375, you can see she needs screens blown out, so blow out the rad, blow out the air filter, change the oil, lubricate that. That should be most of that. I think we'd be done that in a day. We got a bunch of air hose for the drill. This guy needs an oil change and an engine tune, and well, we had the engine tuned up last year, and it's just running too rich. It smokes. It's got a growl, and it starts. That thing used to start like a top, like almost better than my EcoBoost. Now it's tough starting. We also need a new tarp for that. I've got two tarps here. We have a down there. Have a fuel tank coming, just a 4,500 liter tank. As you can see, the drill. We popped the tire off the bead, backing it up. That's minor. All of these, I'm on the wrong side to show you this, but I guess all of these tires we're changing out to, these are fully pneumatic. We're changing them out to semi-pneumatic so they won't go flat or leak down, so won't have to check for flat tires, and we won't have to worry about under compaction or bad strips like that. Won't have to carry any spares. All of these 2.5-inch main hoses, excuse me, they're getting changed out. I figure there's 600 feet of that. They go all the way back to the cart. Yeah, so back to there. I'm ordering, I guess the top end's not that bad, but you can see the conveyor's pretty worn out. Fertilizer's nasty stuff. So gonna do some cleaning, some new panels, and from this splice there back is pretty much all gonna be new. So this hopper, this so this is a hopper. They call this the slave hopper or slave swing or something like that. And I ordered this piece just because, but I think it actually might be okay. Hard to say until we get into it. The belt's actually in pretty good shape. And then we'll pull out the everything there, make sure our bearings are good, well greased. And I put new cameras in last week. I might need to put some lights in because a couple of them just don't seem to be picking up all that well. I'm going to test that out. You can see I got the one camera I didn't zip tie up because it was -5, and I would have broken 10 zip ties per good one. So all of these shank protectors, we need to flip them, and we're getting new ones of these because they're like, some of them are just paper thin, so they protect the mild steel in behind. Most of the shanks are pretty good, but we have a couple on the first, all the cedar or the seed runs are good, or we'll call these in furrow, these sideband. So all the sidebound ones are pretty good, except for 2 or 3 that are have gotten really sharp there. So we might change a handful of them out. Some of these boots, like this, gotten pinched over, so we'll have to cut like 3/4 of an inch and shift the whole thing when we do that too. These casters here, got to figure out exactly what we need for those, but I think it's just a new bolt, possibly a bearing in there. I'm not sure. These two gauges are wrapped, as you can see, so they're no good. And we've noticed a few of these guys here are just, they've loosened off a bit. They've probably worn a hair on the plate, so we'll tighten all those up. Hopefully that's the majority of it. Probably a few cylinders that might need rebuilt because they're leaking. So just up there you see like these seal kits might be required. I'll probably get a handful of them. And we did most of the small hoses last year. There's usually one or two that ends up rubbing. What else? This guy needs the air filters blown out and an oil change. Probably a wash. A few other odds and ends, like we might change out some hose ends or whatnot. Maybe on the top of the cart, there's a couple of the seals I think aren't all that healthy. What else? Might do an oil change on the 4650. It's not necessarily that urgent right now. It doesn't get a lot of use this time of year, aside from running an auger now and then. The 4040, change the oil in that, because that's essentially our forklift around the yard. The Volvo, it needs a new tarp, which I have, and an oil change, and blow out the air filter too. And I'm hoping I can find eventually in the summer find a new cab for this. You can see she's getting pretty rusty and ugly at all the seams if you look, and she leaks when it rains. This guy just needs an oil change. It's ready to go. I'm debating on possibly putting backup cameras on all 3 grain trucks. I have them. This guy, hopefully today, Young's is coming with our 4440, so it's going to be traded out because there's a real nasty windstorm coming through supper time today. And I kind of doubt they'd haul it if it's calling for 100k gusts overnight and tomorrow morning. So I'm guessing if it doesn't show up today, it'll probably show up Wednesday. Super excited. So when the 44 shows up, I need to put cameras on that and climate field view. Oh yeah, and the Versatile needs a lube job. Not going to use that guy. That guy we'll use this afternoon. Our little out there is just a homemade trailer. We haul our def and spare hoses and tow straps and whatnot from field to field in that thing. Just load that up. I want to build a couple shelves in there. The def is in town at the heated garage, and we're hauling. I forgot to say, all 3 trucks are full of peas right now because they're getting hauled over for cleaning, and they're going to end up in one of those bins. So we got a lot on the go, and I'm also working on some business loans and paperwork and that kind of stuff to fill out. Paperwork is the worst part about farming. I hate it, but they say that's where you make the most money, is at your computer. Oh yeah, and you'll see that I've got my 1/2 ton out here instead of my 1 ton, because my water pump decided to crap out yesterday. Went to go hop in it, and I looked underneath, and my driveway, and there was a big wet spot, and it was leaking coolant everywhere. So luckily they had one in town. Of course, it was Sunday yesterday, so I had to wait. They have one in town. Like I said, a pretty busy day today, and I'm just going to call them to drop it off at OK Tire in town. They said it only takes an hour and a half to change out that pump, so they can do that while I got other stuff on the go.